So let's go to a question that I received from one of my hypnotherapists in the United States. She said, "Hi Helen, thank you for responding to my questions on Facebook. This is a particular lady who did my expert therapist system in St. Louis, Missouri. And she said, thank you for responding to my questions on Facebook. Great information. In my pre-talk, I think that I did explain anxiety to the client. I pretty much memorized all of your words from your videos, and which I've watched over and over. Anxiety is something that I have specialized in, and my hypnotherapists here at HypnoFit specialize in as well. But after listening to your Facebook video chat, I do see now where I could have emphasized and repeated more that there is a system and a structure to what I'm doing, and we need to do first things first." Okay, so this is what this is about. So when clients come to us for a specific issue, it could be that they're coming to us for anxiety, or they're coming to us for weight loss, or they're coming to us for some sort of addictive behavior. They think that as hypnotherapists, we're going to address that in the first session. Now, many hypnotherapists do address that in the first session, and I actually think that's an incorrect approach, because you're dealing with a symptom before you're dealing with the cause. Hey, Nikki. Hey, gorgeous girl. So it's our job as experts to not just give clients what they ask for and what they want, but to give clients what they actually need first. And so what we need to do is we need to constantly set the expectations and make sure that we are exceeding the expectations of our clients, because we're not giving a tangible service. We're not giving, a piece of cake or a piece of bread, or, something that's tangible and they can hold and they understand that that's what they're paying for. We're actually helping them overcome their life's, biggest challenges. We're helping them to think differently, so when those challenges come up for them in the future, they can deal with them differently. So it's not just about the presenting problem. It's about, well, how are they going to react to that similar sort of problem in the future? That's what it's about. Ultimately, that's what it's about. It's about giving them the resources and the ability to tap into those resources so that they can, in the future, deal with those situations without you. So it's not just about feeling nice in the session. As hypnotherapists, we can all do that, right? We can all help our clients feel great at the end of the session. But then 2 days after, or 3 days after, or a week after, when the same thing happens, how will they react to that particular challenge, that particular adversity? And that is what we must do as hypnotherapists, is that we must set them up, help them connect to their inner wisdom and inner resources so that they are able to deal with any future event at any time in the most resourceful way possible. So what this question is that I received about is, I always train my hypnotherapists, and the next retreat is going to be in December at the luxurious Mantra Legends in the Gold Coast. So we're there for a 3-day retreat, 7th, 8th, 9th of December. I'm very excited. And during the whole retreat, I'm constantly reiterating about not just meeting expectations for your clients, but exceeding them. So the way that we do that is that throughout the whole process and the whole program, we're constantly making sure that the client is aware of the value they are consistently receiving. And so one of the things that this email is talking about is where I emphasize to the client, so if they've come for anxiety, but we're not dealing with anxiety in the first session because we've got other things that we must do first as a foundation to prepare them for that anxiety session, we need to keep telling them that this is a system, this is a structure. I have not forgotten as to why you're here, but we need to do this, and this first before we do, what you came in here for. Because we want to do this properly, we want to have long-term results, not a short-term band-aid. That's what this work is about. And so what this email says is, thank you for reminding me that I have to tell my clients that there has to be a system and a structure, and that we will get there, but this is the proper process, so be patient. And so that's important, is that we're constantly managing expectations and making sure that our clients are well aware of the process and that you've got them, and you're not just fluffing about, but you have a system, a structure in place so they can achieve their results in the most effective way possible. And by effective, I mean long-term results, not short-term results, okay? So, whoever's on the call, make sure that you tell me where you're from. Hey, Rowan! 2 more weeks till Gold Coast. You are going to love it. It's going to be fantastic. So Rowan's coming to my December retreat. So it's going to be 3 days. This is the first time I'm holding a 3-day retreat in the luxurious Gold Coast Legends, Mantra Legends. In May next year, it's going to be a 5-day retreat. 5-day retreat. So everybody who has done my 2 or 3 day retreat can repeat the course again. So I'm very excited. And Mary's on from Brisbane. Hey, Mary. Mary's already done my course. Good to see you, girl. So, all right, what's the next question that I've got for my live Q&A? So make sure that if you have missed this beginning so far, make sure that you do replay it. And if you do not receive these live Q&As as part of a newsletter, please send me your email address and I will make sure that you are part of my therapist list, which means that you will get these live Q&As emailed to you all the time. So as soon as I make them, you'll get them emailed to you within that week, and it will be an edited version. So you can just see the information that really counts as well. All right, so I have a question here. This is from a lady who has done my USA Expert Therapist System, and she said to me that in this email that in her first session, the client mentioned that her grandmother had a mental diagnosis and she believed that she might be the same as her grandmother. So we have a limiting belief there. That is a limiting belief because what she sees is herself having a mental illness because her grandmother had one. So, you know, whatever we believe, we're going to play out in our life. So this particular client, she sees that her grandmother has a mental illness, and so she has decided that she has one as well. So that is a limiting belief. There is no doubt about that because she's putting herself in victim mode by saying that I have a mental illness, because with someone who has a mental illness, it's almost as if they have no control in terms of how to deal with that. And so the question is, should I bring that up when it comes to the limiting belief sessions? Yes, you absolutely should bring that up. So this is the way that I would handle that. When it comes to the limiting belief session in your program, I would say, so Kathy, in your first session, you know, you brought up quite a number of limiting beliefs, but because we've done so much work during the course of this program, I want to just make sure that you still believe they are true. Bearing in mind with limiting beliefs or with anything that you talk to the client about, you do need to do pre-talk, so you need to explain what a limiting belief is. You can't just launch into that kind of conversation. So Rowan, you will find out all about all that pre-talk and everything that I say to clients at the Gold Coast retreat. So you would give a little spiel about what a limiting belief is. It's a belief that holds us back because we believe that it's true. It's really hard to identify limiting beliefs because we think that they're a fact. So I would say, so Kathy, in your first session, when you first came in, you mentioned a number of limiting beliefs. And I just want to find out if they're still true, because we've done a lot of work so far and it may be that they're no longer true for you. So let's find out. In your first session, you said that, you know, your grandmother had a mental illness and you believed that you were the same as her. Do you still believe that to be the case? So her answer will either be, oh, not really. And then if it's like that, then you must deal with it. You must absolutely deal with it, because it still means that they believe that there is some sort of you know, mental illness that they're taking on as well. But if they said, oh no, definitely not, I don't believe that anymore, then you don't need to do that limiting belief. So even though they came in with that limiting belief in the first session, you no longer need to deal with it by the time you get to that part of the program. So this is what generally happens most of the time, is clients come to you in the first session with a whole heap of limiting beliefs. And because you've done work during the program, they drop off by themselves. As they become more and more empowered, they drop off by themselves. Usually, but not always, there's always exceptions, by the limiting belief session, there is the limiting belief, I am not good enough, is usually still there, but not always. There's always exceptions. And maybe one other one as well that you need to deal with. Sometimes more. There's always exceptions. So the best way is to check it out with a client. So I'll just reiterate that process. You do a pre-talk on what a limiting belief is. You say to them, these are the limiting beliefs that you listed in the first session, and what I give my hypnotherapists, it's a template that I have created, that it's the creation of the entire program. So after the first session, the whole program is created based on that template. So you have all the limiting beliefs listed. You don't have to go through your notes and find them. You have them all listed in a very concise area under the limiting beliefs box. You can tell I'm very structured and I'm very systemized. I'm an ex-secondary school teacher and I'm an ex-project manager, which means for me, there is a system to everything. And that's what I train my hypnotherapists is to give them that system. And so by giving them that system, they have the confidence to walk into a session and know exactly what to do without, floundering about. So if they say yes, they still believe it, you need to deal with it. If they say no, they don't, then you don't. And if they're sort of, oh, not really, then you do need to deal with it. Okay, so I hope that helps you with regards to that question. Next question. Okay, the next question I received was from a hypnotherapist in Melbourne who, one of her clients is a highly religious Christian young man, and she wanted to know how to deal with him in the session. So we need to work within the world of our clients. So you would not be talking about the universe or spirits or angels with somebody who has a very defined religious belief. You have to work within their world. And so what that means is with someone who, like this situation where he has got firm Christian beliefs, use that, utilize that as much as possible. So what I would do is I would get relevant texts and quotations from the Bible and use them. Use them in your therapy. Use them in your, in your deep trance sessions. So use their world and their belief system as much as possible. Don't introduce concepts that they do not believe in. So you would not be talking about, like I said, you would not be talking about spirit guides and lots of angels and, the universe, and use those sort of words for someone who has very defined Christian beliefs. You would use words that they are familiar with and that they can feel the greatest rapport with. Okay? So use it to your benefit. Make sure that you do get some transcripts from the Bible and some quotes, and use those words in your script. All right, final question. This is from Annie Walker. Annie's from Bathurst. She said, "Hi Helen, I'm currently going through your course," which is great, by the way. Of course it is. I created it. Anything I create with my absolute soul, and I do not do anything second rate. So, hi Helen, I'm currently going through your course, which is great. Would you mind answering a question for me, please? So this is the whole purpose of live Q&As, is I don't like to train my hypnotherapists and then just dump them. I like to be able to answer their questions indefinitely and forever through this forum, through this live forum. How do you intertwine your questions and therapy sessions with Sheila Granger's virtual gastric band program? Okay, this is a very good question. So first of all, I would like to say that I have the highest respect for Sheila Granger. She was she was right at the very beginning. I first graduated from hypnotherapy on the 31st of May 2010. It's hard to believe it's only been 8.5 years. It really feels like it's been a lot longer than that, because you know of how many clients I have seen in that time, literally thousands upon thousands, and it feels like it was a lifetime ago when I was working in corporate. So Sheila Granger was one of the very first people that I looked up to. I loved her authenticity. I loved her easy to follow system. You know, there's no point creating a system for hypnotherapists unless it's easy and practical to implement. And so that's why all my systems are easy. They can be implemented immediately. There's no point people thinking, I can't do that. You make it so simple, so easy that it's easy to implement. And so Sheila Granger's system, I highly recommend, is very easy. So this question is how is my system, my therapy system, combined with Sheila Granger's system? That's a very good question. I actually did a webinar with Sheila Granger when I was in London, because we do get along really well. We see things exactly the same way. You know, when she talks, it's like I'm hearing myself talk. We see things exactly the same way. And so we did a webinar together. And the reason we did that webinar is because my therapy system fits in perfectly with her virtual gastric band system. So her virtual gastric band system deals with the symptoms of weight loss. Now, this is what I have found in my experience here at HypnoFit with the thousands of clients that have come here, is that 85% of all weight loss clients have some sort of emotional reason as to why they're engaging in self-sabotaging bad habits. About 15% are in a really good place. They're really happy. They just got themselves into some bad habits. So Sheila Granger's virtual gastric band system is perfect for that 15%. Perfect. It's absolutely perfect because it deals with the symptoms in a really great methodical way. Now, what about the 85%? What about the 85% that have got emotional blocks? And so my belief is that any hypnotherapist that can hypnotize is able to help a client lose weight in the short term. But it's not about the short term. It's about the long term. My greatest joy is when my clients, and here at HypnoFit, our clients, I should say not my clients, our clients, when they email us years after and say, just to let you know that weight has stayed off, that is success. Success is not helping your client lose weight for the wedding that they're going to in 2-3 months. Success is 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years later and they've still got the weight off. So how does the two systems work together, Annie? Basically, with that 85%, which you assess at the free consult, because you've got my system, you understand what that means, you will deal with the emotional stuff first, which is my therapy system, and then straight after that, you put in Sheila Granger's virtual gastric band system. It's a perfect combo. So just to reiterate, you do my therapy system first to remove all the emotional blocks, and then you do the virtual gastric band system straight after that. So you deal with the cause and then you deal with the symptoms. So I hope that's helped you. So it's one program. So basically for our weight loss clients, that is one program. It's the emotional stuff and then the weight loss stuff. One program. So typically when people have got deep emotional issues and they have got weight loss as well, it's typically 12 sessions, all of that from beginning to end. And if you're thinking, I can't sell 12 sessions, of course you can. There is a methodology and a system and a structure to everything. If you need to find out more about that, there's a free webinar on my link up above. So have a look at my link up above, and there is a free webinar about how to sell programs. So I hope it's been helpful. If you have any questions at all, I haven't had really any questions from viewers today like I normally do. Wishing you all a great week.